Let me get my setup sexy. Hey, hey, hey. Classic alert. One thing I'm gonna say about a potential Oh Gosh Leotus episode is Banger's gonna play for show. We don't gotta do a whole lot of talking this episode.
Yeah, just hit play the whole night.
So what's good, bro? Hold on. For those of you watching, we are clearly in a new environment. We are in the studio of the well-esteemed, well-spoken of. He's probably been a topic in every episode of this season. Oh Gosh Leotus, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
A little awkward. This ain't my studio.
Yeah.
But fortunately, we are very similar people, so the workflow here is very comfortable. So
Absolutely.
I already knew you had. I literally didn't bring anything today.
Yeah.
You have my hard drive, so we're just filming to that, and we'll drop the audio on it. So it's a beautiful process, man. And I don't think you've seen any episodes of the show specifically. So
no, I've seen clips, but I haven't watched full episodes yet.
Yeah, so you don't know what you're in for, and that excites me. Pause. But for the few people who may not know, I'm gassing you like crazy right now. But who are you?
It's Oh Gosh Leotus. It's your boy.
Your boy.
Music producer, instrumentalist, engineer. Anything that has to do with music, I'm probably doing it.
Right. So, I mean, just from how I met you was you made beats. That was like bottom line. And I think that's really just what you did as far as media goes back then. You didn't do anything else but make beats.
Nah.
Oh, and you played the drums. You played the drums.
Yeah, I played drums.
You know, you were a drummer as well. But look, man, I don't really see you drumming like you used to. You know, I see you filming, holding cameras, taking photos, engineering, producing. You're doing live streams. You're doing everything.
Yeah.
Is that? Are you proud of that? Are you okay with that? Was it by necessity or by choice? Or
for me, it was just one of those things where I got tired of waiting on other people to do things for me.
Welcome to my life.
You know what I'm saying? So, which is fine. People are busy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they have other projects that they're working on. So this beautiful thing, you know, is good. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just go ahead and invest in these, like the camera and you know, recording equipment and stuff like that, which comes with the territory of being a producer. But
of course,
yeah, that's kind of how that happened. And I'm starting to not like it because I'm like, dang, there's just certain things that I just can't do by myself.
Yeah, you know, and it's tough for someone who's coming from the realm of production for music, because with a DAW, you can be the drummer, be the pianist, you can be every role, and you just gotta store it, and you can do them one at a time. When you're on a film set or you're trying to shoot, you just can't do it all at once.
That's where it becomes like you dead ass need a team to like shoot.
You have to, and it's cool that I know you, because these are a lot of things that I had to do for myself, but now I know another person who can do them. But it's just crazy to me because I've always just thought of you as the producer who produces like no one else can. You know, well, for me, I've always I know videographers. You know, I know photographers. I know drummers. I know guitarists. And I've always thought of it as, you know, I know a bunch of them. So what's the big deal? But I don't know a bunch of Leos when it comes to production. You're not replaceable. You know,
thank you.
You definitely bring something to the table musically that I don't personally know in person anywhere else. Okay. And I don't know how do you get to that point? Like, what happened? Because you're from a family of producers, aren't you? You got cousins and people who got you into producing, and when did that start?
Well, first off, thank you for the compliment.
Right.
Well, growing up, I've kind of been surrounded by music. My grandma, she toured when she was younger.
I've seen the video.
Oh yeah, so
you showed me it, I think.
Yeah, my grandma, she used to go ham back in the 70s and 80s and stuff. She's the one that actually introduced me into rapping. Actually, she was. I used to rap when I was like 9, 10 years old. I don't know what any of those tapes are. She might have them still.
So you were a barsman first.
Yeah, she was writing all my raps though. She was writing them. I remember. I'll never forget. I recorded This is crazy. I've never really told the story, but I recorded at one of her friend's house. He had a booth in the closet with a bunch of clothes.
So
in
you
it.
understood the process early of like.
Yeah, not really.
No?
I was just doing what I was told because my grandma understood the music business, so she was like, "I'm gonna try to make you a star." Nothing happened because I didn't like it. Like it wasn't for me at the time. But then once I got older and was really understanding music and being able to, be a young adult,
Right.
And get around. I had like you said, my cousins, they produced, and I would be around them, watching them use FL Studio, and never knew what it was at the time, but it just looked like it was just mad fun.
Yeah.
To just be able to click things in and
It's
get
just
sound out of it.
It's like a crazy form of power, like creation that you've never seen before.
Right, absolutely.
I'll never forget when I saw Reason, which is a nasty story.
Oh my God.
But
Reason is good though.
Reason
at the time was still fire.
I mean, I made albums. And I made multiple albums using Reason, and it was just this weird like ability to say I can create from scratch everything, and I got off on that. It was like stimulating. I just remember my first project I ever made where I produced it. It was called 4 Seasons. And I'm always like an idea guy. So I was like, okay, I try to create unique, rich ideas that are accomplishable. Like I'm realistic. And I went, okay, I suck at making beats. If I do 4 seasons, I only have to make 4 beats. Like the track is not that complicated. I'm just going to make a summer beat, winter, fall, spring, done. So first thing I did, man, is I'd open up the sounds and just go, what feels like winter? And I would just make a beat off of feeling, and some of them were trash, some were decent, but I just remember like eventually I kind of hit a ceiling, and I've been close friends with Nabi, as you know, since forever, before music. So he subconsciously kind of got me to stop making beats. He doesn't even know it. It was just one of those things where it was someone who's so much more excellent at it is able to expedite the process and get me my vision done faster. Yeah. And it was one less hat to wear. It's probably the only reason you don't rap on all your songs. Right. You're going, I just don't have the time to be sitting down writing whole albums when I know guys who will, boom.
Just knock it out. Yeah.
There's no reason for you to do it. It's a hat you don't need to wear. Even if there are times you need raps, you're going, okay, I'm not going to have to do this. Right. So, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. But from way back then, you're still making beats.
Yeah. To this day, 15 years later.
Is there anything else you've done this long?
Besides really just music, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I was drumming when I was 13, I want to say, and then got into production when I was 16. So like, yeah, that's honestly it. Just music, really, in general.
What do you think? When do you think it turned into like, I'm really good at this? Like, I'm a great producer.
Probably around the time when I got when I won my first beat battle. Yeah. When I got that trophy.
What year was that?
2011. And
you didn't waste no time.
Man. And it's funny, that story, because like at the time, no, I think it was 2010. I think it was 2011 actually, but I've been in the music scene in Riverside, San Bernardino, Inland Empire, and that was like my first introduction to Oh Gosh being a producer, because I was just a bandmate in my old band, Thursday Night Out, and like I lost that very first beat battle to Curtis King.
Yeah, on this season,
and I thought I did phenomenal. I thought my beats was way better, and at the time I just didn't understand beat battles. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole samplings, like classic songs or very known, records, and making them into something completely different. And that's what people gravitate towards too when it comes to beat battles. And then I was like, all right, bet, this is what this is. I'm gonna go to the crib, go into my cave, and a month later I haven't lost beat battle ever since. I went back and battled. Finally got to battle Curtis King again. Whooped him.
Whoop.
I was like, okay,
Curtis,
I feel better.
It's all love on this end. I can't speak for that end.
Shout out to Curtis, man. Shout out to Curtis. That's my bro, man.
Yeah, that's the guy.
At the time, it was just like, it was an ego thing for me, because
I
just thought I was good. I was like, okay, I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm actually liking what I'm doing. But yeah, man, it was it was rough for me when I took that L.
And why the name Oh Gosh Leotus?
Oh man, it's funny. So I used to just go by Leotus at one point.
Which is still a dope name.
Yeah. And there was this one beat in particular where I was like sampling this woman being scared of clowns, like she had a phobia of clowns. And the first thing from the sample that was in the beat was her saying, "Oh gosh." And I love the way it sounded at the beginning, like where I put my tag in all my beats is where I had it on that beat.
Did you have a tag saying Leotus?
No, not at all. No, I did have like the Leotus Productions, like the
you got one of
typical,
those.
like you go to soundclick.com
Yeah.
type tag. But what is it? Yeah, so I had this beat that had all these chops of her being, screaming and all these things because of the clown. And I was like, I love the way this "oh gosh" sounds at the beginning of this beat. So I started just putting that at the beginning of all my beats after that. And what's it called? I was like, I can't just call myself Leotus and just have this tag that just says "oh gosh." So I was like,
even though it's kind of fire, but I feel you.
Yeah, it to me at the time it felt like it didn't make sense, but it would have worked either way. So yeah, that's how I got "oh gosh" Leotus.
Man, that's crazy. So today, I'll say a few things for you. Obviously, you're one of the most popular and successful producers in the Inland Empire. Obviously, there's like the Hit Boys and stuff like that, that are making beats for Justin Bieber or whatever. But you're still accessible in some aspect. Obviously, there's a billion rappers in the Inland Empire and a lot of talented ones.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But with all that being said, you're one human being, and I'm sure your DMs, your email are flooded, with people
Nasty.
trying to buy beats, set up sessions, and do all these things. And how do you figure out your time? Because let's be frank here, making beats for other people is not really a creative outlet unless you have a bond with that artist.
No, absolutely. I think it's one of those things where you just gotta create relationships first.
Yeah.
Before you can really get creative, like just create that chemistry. Like when you introduced me to Nabi and even work with you guys, like you, Cam, Kit, CJ, like we're bros. You know what I'm saying? So that everything is just seamless. But I've had my experiences where I'm like, okay, let me branch out and see if let's just blow the IE up. You know what I'm saying? Let's get everybody. Let's just make dope shit. And yeah, there's been times where it doesn't go well because the chemistry isn't right or the vibes are off, and I'm like, okay, I'm learning that I can't just stretch myself out too thin.
You can't for sure.
Because I'm the type of person I'd be grinding. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be hustling. So I'm just kind of like, let's just try to make it happen with everybody. I exhausted myself.
Well, I'm a little confused as far as what route a producer in your position goes, because here's in the head of, I'm going to try to give you the perspective or perception of someone who doesn't produce at all, isn't in the music industry, and just sees you, right? There's a few things that can happen. You sell beats to artists and you make a living that way, right?
Yeah.
You're making beats, maybe 10 a day, whatever, that's how you make your living. So you got to have inventory, and then you just start selling them. That's one way. And I'm not going to get into the details of leasing and exclusives. None of that matters. So you're selling beats to people, one, or you're making beats for really famous people, and we think you're getting big checks. That's another one. Obviously, me and you know a bit more about all of these routes and why you do or don't do some things. But then there's these other routes, which are more like content creation, where you're doing like a live stream, where you're almost being accessed by producers instead of rappers. And you make sounds and you make loops and samples and stuff like that, and that's a route you take. And then there's like DJing, or the DJ Khaled route, where you make your own albums and you pick the artists that are on them. How do you know what to do?
To this day, to be honest with you, I still don't know. But because I enjoy all these things, and I know there's gonna be a point in my life where I'm just gonna I gotta pick one or two things and just run with it, because I understand like the capabilities that I have and the capacity of, like the possibilities are just endless for me in my opinion. Like if I want to go ahead and sell beats, I can go ham with that. If I want to create albums with artists, I can do that as well. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I want to do, because I like doing all of it.
So we played a beat that me and you sat down and started a record for. That record's incomplete at the moment.
Yeah.
But that is you and me sitting down in the studio and doing a session. That's one way that things can go.
Yeah.
This is another way things can go. I probably shouldn't play this, but
the placement route.
This is a hit.
Yes, it definitely is. It's probably one of my most popular records for sure.
I think it's the most from a.
It definitely is.
Yeah, statistically, I don't want to play it too long because I don't know if I'm gonna get flagged or what.
You're getting flagged.
But that's Leotus Genesis. And yeah, so what's that process like there? Obviously, it seems like you're capable of whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. What feels the best? You know, I don't think you have an album with a bunch of artists on it that you produced yet. Mm-hmm. You have a beat tape with Nabian.
Yeah.
You have exclusively produced albums for several artists, which is kind of like the Ninth Wonder lane.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you kind of produce for someone the entire thing, and, you know, you sit in and you probably recorded the artist knowing you and mixed the whole thing and probably shot the video, probably helped with the thumbnails, probably helped with the rollout. You know, you probably were at the shows playing an instrument or DJing.
Yeah.
You know, you're wearing a million hats. And to me, that almost feels like you're taking... So first, making the beats, cool. And then every step after that you do with the artist is a step further away from the Oh Gosh Leotus path.
Yeah.
And you're becoming a bit more of a supporting role for whatever artist you're working with.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or bad thing for you?
It could be both. My thing is, for me, I just want to make sure whatever it is that I'm invested in, it looks great.
Right.
Because sometimes people need motivation, whoever I'm working with. And, you know...
So you're protecting the brand, essentially.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, for sure. Because my thing is... It's a lot to think about, and it's very important to like make sure that the video looks clean, the photos look clean, the album artwork is great.
It's your Achilles heel that you can actually help with those things.
Yeah,
because before you would just have to trust the process.
Yeah, and sometimes I hate that I'm this way because I'm such a perfectionist.
I'm the same way.
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I do got to step away and just be like, "Yo, you need to do this, that, and the third, so we can make this look right." Because it's still my art too. Like I gotta represent this.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So. I try to do my best to kind of, you know, put my foot forward and make sure that whatever my name is on is great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what's your sound? Like, you know, obviously we think of like a Young Metro. We know his sound. Ninth Wonder, we know his sound. Timbaland, we know his sound. K Tronado, we know his sound. Pharrell, we know his sound. I know you very well. I can't answer this question outside of maybe 808 slides and insane bass lines. Like, I don't really know what is your sound, or what is something, if Leo made the beat, what can we assume besides you saying is dope?
That's a good question, because it's very easy to tell, like the producers you name, you know them when you hear them. Maybe for me is the sound selection, or my drums, really. That's like my drums is like my thing. I
don't know if I have like a weird nuanced ear, but I know the mix of your beats. Yeah. Like the way you make your beat sound. I hear the difference between a Nabian beat and your beat. I get a little confused when you guys make songs together. That's a little confusing for me. But, you know, I know your chords too. I'm very familiar with your chord type. I think we've talked about that several times. Yeah. But outside of those few details, I don't know. You know, I go to you for the stuff that no one can make. This is why I said you're not replaceable. I mean... I'm going to play a few more joints, and these are just going to be proof that you can make almost anything you want.
Oh, yeah. I'm on this one too, right?
Yeah, you're on the actual record. This is just the beat.
Yeah.
I've been working like a slave.
Never mind. It's the song.
Oh, it's the record, yeah.
My bad.
No, it's all good.
I've been looking for a way out. Dreams of beaches in the waves now. Yeah, I've been working like a slave out. Trying to put me
now, what's funny about this record is this was done in the moment, on the spot, on your show.
Yeah.
Which you do 2 days a week. How do you just make something like this from scratch in 45 minutes?
Man, that was really fast. Well, that's the thing with the streams. Like, I try to make sure I keep it clean cut. Let's straight to the point. Let me just put stuff together and hope that it works. And most of the time, it works.
Well,
you know
sometimes I hear the simplicity where like it's a banger, but it's a simple banger.
Yeah.
This is a very layered record. Mm-hmm. There's a lot happening.
Yeah. I be locked in sometimes, man. Especially with stuff like this. Like, I love musical experimental type of tracks, which I feel like that's what this is.
Absolutely.
You know, like you're hearing stuff like this from like Thundercat.
Who do you listen to?
Like right now, or just like in general. And
then
I listen
after
to a lot
that,
of producers, honestly. Like,
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Who are your top producers?
Top producers, Pharrell, #1 for sure. Monte Booker, crazy, stupid crazy. The Count, super talented. The homie Kalen Ellis, crazy. Nabian, phenomenal. Who else? I want to name one more. There's this one producer named what's his name? Oswell, which is super crazy.
Okay.
Which as far as like the experimental side that I love about production. That's
there's so
there.
As you know, sometimes us rappers we rap for other rappers.
Yeah.
You know, super lyrical. You know.
Yeah, I'm the producer that produces for other producers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You know.
And then sometimes you gotta scale that back.
Absolutely.
And probably for you guys too, like stop trying to rap all the time, just make a dope record.
Exactly.
That's same with me with producing. Like, stop trying to put 20 instruments in a verse. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I remember our first records. Me and you would be together in the room, like, add that, like, we're just going crazy, you know. And I'm encouraging it, and I'm the rapper, you know, with a low voice on top of that. Yeah. And I'm just like, go ham. You know, we're adding choirs and strings and
going dumb,
going crazy in the studio.
But I think it's because that was like our first experiences, and we're getting to know each other, and you know, I'm experimenting at that, especially at that time. Like, I think I was just winning beat battles, so I was just like, you know, when you're doing beat battles, like, you're doing all that you can. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that was my producing style. And
well, you clearly have an extremely high level of awareness, which is what being a producer and not just a beat maker is, right?
Absolutely.
You know, it's understanding what's going on, who's going to do what, hearing the artist on the song before they write, kind of thing. You know, these are things you do. I think you've called me out the blue, like, I have a Kasai beat. And I'm like, what the hell is a Kasai beat? You know, like, I don't know what you think it is, you know?
I've definitely done that a few times.
Yeah, you know, and you've called me to do records with other people. You're like, yo, she would be perfect with you. Yeah. You know, and you're a producer. You know, you're literally producing a record. Two people who don't even know each other on a beat. You haven't played anyone, and then we show up and you haven't even made it yet. You know, and everything just magically happens and it always works out. You know, and I think that there's a beautiful understanding there of like you and OE, which is we know when to rap like we're rappers, and we know when to rap like we're gonna make music for people. You know, and you know how to do the same thing with production, because you know how to swing the hell out of some drums and have some out of pocket craziness and weird time codes, or what are they,
like time signatures?
Yeah, time signatures. Yeah, you know, and that stuff I don't even know where to rap anymore. You know? But I love to listen to it. You know, my favorite producer back in the day was Exile.
Exile is crazy too. Yeah.
He had an instrumental album called Radio. I don't know if you ever heard it.
I probably have.
But that was the first beat tape that made me realize, like, an instrumental, like a beat maker or a producer who makes an album with no rappers on it can make a classic. Like, it can be done. That was,
absolutely.
A lot of people learn that with like Donuts or something, or some Dilla stuff. But for me, it was Exile. That album, it's like 2009 or something like that. And I was like, I didn't know someone could do this. Yeah. So I'm going to have to give you that album. I want you to hear it so bad.
No, I probably have heard it before, because I remember there's a time where
you were in the blue in Exile.
Heavy. You know. It's like, what, 2009, 10? Like, I was deep diving in their catalog and Exile and all the producers in that era.
So there's 7 days in a week, 31 days possibly in a month, whatever, you know. How many of those days are spent working on music and videos and all this stuff?
I'm doing something every day.
Every day?
Yeah. I might take Saturday, Sunday off, but for the most part, throughout the week, I'm doing something. Whether I'm making.
Do you have a good work-life balance? Has that ever been a problem for you? Have you ever? What has it led to?
It's definitely been a problem. I've lost 2 relationships because of my career, which is fine, you know, because it obviously weeds out the people that I don't need to deal with. But
right, and it's a part of who you are, you know. So
yeah,
it's part of the deal essentially.
And that's one thing I won't take away from this because this is me. This is what I'm. This is what I do. But to also understand, like, I do need to have some type of balance where I hang out with friends, talk to friends, family, girl, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, those things are also important too, because these are things that I also want to, maintain. I don't want to ever have, bad relationships or people are like, oh, don't talk to Leo. He's probably busy. You know what I'm saying? Which I probably have those people out there, but
I mean, it's part of the process.
Yeah.
I mean, I think me and you text equally poorly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
I don't even really be texting. We be calling.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Well, with me and you specifically, I try texting sometimes just out of like I'm busy and I'm like, why did I even send that? Let me just call him in 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Like I'll just get the call off. But it's one of those things where when does it ever actually slow down? I don't think it technically ever can. If you don't let it, it never will.
Yeah.
What do you think would cause a slowdown? When would things become more leisurely, or do you not ever want that? Do you enjoy what you're doing?
I definitely enjoy what I'm doing, but I also understand that if I want to, be able to just have some type of freedom and be able to breathe and experience life, I do got to slow down because being a musician can take up a lot of your time. It can definitely just take you away from a lot of things. And like, I know producers that's in their 50s, 60s, they never got married, they don't have kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to have those things eventually, you know what I'm saying? So I'm also taking that into consideration while I'm doing this, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna say that it's affecting me yet because I'm not ready for those things. Yeah. But I do take that into consideration. You know what I mean?
Right. Do music people retire, or does music retire them?
Maybe music retires them because people, unless you're like Pharrell and you're just timeless, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Pharrell remains young sonically. You know?
Absolutely.
And I think part of what makes him that is that he's such a genuine soul with music. He's very open-minded to new music.
Yeah.
And he's also not a creature of influence. He doesn't let things dictate what he wants to do next.
Absolutely.
And I would even go as far as saying that you're a very similar producer.
Oh yeah.
You just do what feels good, do what feels right. I've never ever brought you something and sensed like an energy of like, oh, we're gonna make that. Like, that's not my style, or that doesn't sound good.
I don't think I've even ever, because I love music for one.
Yeah.
And then two, I always see things as a challenge because I've gotten to the point in my career, I can listen to something, dissect it, understand it, and be like, okay, these are the elements and pieces that it took to make this particular record.
I don't understand why you're so good at producing, and I mean that genuinely. So obviously, there's we know how to video edit, we know how to film, we know how to play basketball, we know how to skateboard. We know how much time it takes and what it requires to master those things, right?
Yeah.
You used to skate.
Yeah.
How many years did you spend skating?
Probably like 4 years.
Okay. Let's put some things in perspective, right? So, let's say you skated for 4 years, right? How good do you think you were at the fourth year before you stopped?
Not that good.
Now, you started making beats when you were 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you were 19, what was going on with production?
I was still learning. I was
because that's roughly when you want a beat battle, isn't it?
Yes, 1920, around the time.
I say all that to say you weren't winning skate competitions.
No, hell no.
You know what I mean? Like, what else have you ever picked up and 4 years later you were serving up people who've been doing it for a decade?
Nothing.
That's why I tell you, when I watch you do things, it doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for everything, and I don't mean that like that's some jealousy thing, but like, for me, I produced for 4 years. And I went, this is not going to be intelligent long term for me as far as the time goes. It'll be cool in 15 years when I look back and go, damn, I've been working on beats this long, and I'll be okay. But there's people like you in my world that this is what you were born to do. There's no way around it because there's no excuse for you to be this good at it. You didn't even have the tools and resources. Like, you didn't have a mentor who was a Hit Boy or Pharrell.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, one thing I will say too, though, like, I feel like if you produce 4 years from now, starting now, 4 years later, you'd be way better producer. Like, if you never started then and started now, just because like the how accessible it is now to produce and like to be able to acquire sound. Because back in what 2009 when you started, it was hard to get a Timbaland drum kit. It was
that's
hard to
why
get,
I used Reason, because Reason had the stock fire.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
that was my main incentive behind it.
Bro, I remember when I got my first drum kit, I lost my mind. I didn't even know it was a thing. I think I got a Neptune's kit, bro. I was going
I remember that
stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But saying that to say, like, a lot of things weren't accessible back then when we started, and now that I'm like, when I did get things, and then now that I'm seeing that, you know, you can just go online and just, you know, just download stuff, I'm like, okay. It kind of, I don't know, I just feel like people that produced back then, you know, started, you know, maybe 2000s up until like 2010, we have a different, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a different, I feel like we care about the music a little bit more, opposed to like, let me just achieve the sound now and move on to the next track.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm more, I guess more quantity or quality than quantity. If that makes sense. Right.
I mean, speaking of quality versus quantity, I can speak really well to you about production from a rapper's perspective. I remember, you know, in my early years, I knew good producers, you know, like I was on dope beats. I've always been on good beats, but I'd have to have a producer send me 50 so I could make 3 great records. You know what I mean? Like, I'd have to get a big pack, and then 10 to 15, I'd go, okay, I can write to this. And then it trickled all the way down to 3 to 5 where I could write a song, then record it, and it's still dope. You know, and you're one of those people where we come in, we make one record, and it's going to be a record. You know, like, we're going to make the whole song. There is no, like, pack of beats, I pick a couple, you know. Everything gets used. You know, are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Of that other side of it, you know?
Yeah, no,
like,
absolutely. I've definitely had that feeling of sending people beats and they're not using them. Like, okay, maybe I am one of those guys that needs to work on that. But then I would, you know, I've had a couple occurrences where I'd send those same beats out to other people and then make songs, put them out, and then I had the first person be like, yo, I wanted that beat. Like, you sent that to me, and I had a roll. It's like, you didn't do nothing to it then.
Yeah.
But I did have that insecurity of like, dang, I'm just not good enough if he's not writing over it.
Yeah.
Because the time and effort that I spent making that track, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that also speaks to the creative obsolete process, you know?
Yeah.
It is obsolete now to just collect beats in your email.
Yeah.
You know, it's if you're an artist and you can't produce your own instrumentals, you should sit down with someone who can and just pay whatever the fee is.
Absolutely.
You know, it will take you so much further musically. I don't think I can make music any other way at this point. If you and Nabian fell off the side of the earth and just flew to China and stopped making beats, I'd probably stop making music. Or I'd just like write to YouTube beats and listen at home. You know, they wouldn't even come out, you know, so that's kind of what I do already. But, you know, that's just the nature of the beast, I guess. So what's the most fun?
Producing, beat making.
Like, is it just making beats for yourself? Is it making beats with artists? Is it making beats on live?
Yeah, making beats for myself. Yeah. Like, whenever, I mean, it's very rare because I haven't dropped a project since 2017, but right now I'm working on an album, and it's the most fun I've ever had in a long time making music, because I'm like trying to curate a sound and figure out what works together, you know what I'm saying, sonically. So yeah, I would say, yeah, working on my own beats just here at the crib just going crazy.
And why, if it's so fun, why isn't there an album out? Like, what's the holdup? Because
I'm working on everybody else's album.
Yeah.
Which is also fun too, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love being able to put stuff together with other people, like, and then they're happy and makes me happy because I'm like, dope. We just made something crazy.
Right, and your reputation travels that much further.
Yeah, know, absolutely.
I think you've essentially built your reputation off just making dope stuff, and someone heard it and asked who it was.
Yeah, that's literally how.
That's how I found out who you are. You know, like, I heard a song, And they're like, "Oh, it's Oh Gosh Leotus," and I was like, "Okay, I need to go hear his." You had a beat set. I went and watched it. You played Nowhere. The rest is history. You know, we know the story, but
That
you know,
beat, man.
yeah, you know, it was probably one of the craziest experiences I've ever had with just sitting at a show and someone just played a beat on stage, and it just punched me in the stomach and the face at the same time. You know, and then I thought I was tripping out. You know, when it happened, and then I played that same beat for Nabian. And he like screamed, and I remember it was me and him and someone else in the car. He was in the back seat, and we were driving somewhere. And I was like, "This guy, oh gosh, I'm telling you, you need to meet. Let me play you this beat." And he was like, "All right, put it in." And he heard the drop on No Air, and he was like, "Cut that shit off right now." He was like, "What just happened?"
Oh my god!
He was so like angry and happy at the same time.
And what's fun because I had the same experience when you showed me a Nabian beat for the first time. I was at your house.
Yeah.
In San Bernardino, and you showed me a Nabi because there's a lot of dope producers in San Bernardino, but he just sounded like he gets it. You know what I'm saying? He just knows what the hell he's doing. So I'll never forget. I forgot what the beat was, but you played. I'm like, bro, like link us, like man. And you already said that you were gonna do that before you even played the beat, but I remember being like, yo. Like, who is this guy?
That's so funny to me, man.
When we first met, when you brought him to my house, I think you brought him over, we kicked it for a bit, and then you left. Bro, he never left my house the whole summer. Like, we was with each other every single day that summer before he went back to college.
Yeah.
And we was just going stupid.
Yeah, I'll never forget that day, man. That was funny.
that whole situation, we talk about that still to this day.
Yeah.
Like, how we just spent the whole summer eating pizza and making beats.
Like, and there's still crazy beats from back then. They exist.
Yeah.
So what's the bucket list things that Oh Gosh has to accomplish before he can feel complete?
I want to go on tour.
Just playing beats?
At least once. Playing drums, beats, whatever. I just want to just be on the road and just do show after show after show.
Okay.
Whether it's me playing drums or me doing like beat showcases, whatever.
Okay.
I want to work with Pharrell once, at least once. I need one. It doesn't have to be out. I just need him to touch something on the beat pad, on the keys, something. I want to
him talk while you play the keys.
That's enough for me. I'll record a voice memo. I don't give a damn. Like that's one thing. That's like my number one favorite producer. Battle Cat. I forgot about Battle Cat. That's also another favorite. Shout out to Battle Cat. That's the big bro. But yeah, going on tour, working for Pharrell, and
are there any artists that you have to produce for? Is that a thing?
No, not really.
No.
That's like I said earlier. Like I listen to producers more than I listen to artists. Like
right.
I love working with artists. Like don't get me wrong. But when I'm in the car, I'm listening to instrumentals a lot of the times. Unless there's like an album. Kendrick, for sure. I'll say Kendrick.
Okay.
If I can work with Kendrick before he's retired, that would be lovely.
That just makes sense, too.
Yeah.
He almost used a beat.
Yeah.
He almost used No Air, right?
Allegedly.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know what it's so old. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it was just one of those things that we tried, but.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that.
Jeez, man. He's the reason I didn't use that beat. That damn guy.
Oh my goodness.
Kendrick.
That beat, man.
But yeah, man.
I need to revamp that joint.
Let me know. Let me know. I still have it. I keep everything. I have Nabian's first beats. I have your late night Mackin. I got.
Oh man.
I got I think I have a full record in Pro Tools to that beat. We've been doing a lot of talking, and I got more beats to play. Let's play. I purposely chose a bunch of stuff that sounds totally different from each other. And I also try to choose stuff that no one can hear anywhere except this episode. So hopefully I don't get in trouble for playing any of these because some people are a part of these records. But I'm on all these songs, so I'll take the heat for it.
You should be fine. What you got to play? Oh, this joint. I don't think I've heard this.
You've heard this. It's the no vocals on this version.
Oh, okay.
I hope not. I said that earlier. There is a draft of this somewhere. Yeah. It's just the beat.
is so hard.
This is so. I feel like I'm asking you a lot of very music people questions, but I don't know what else. Like, I'm not really gonna ask you about your personal life. I'm sorry, I got too many music questions to ask you.
Ask me whatever, man.
So, you work with a lot of people, right? Talk to me about the processes, because I'm gonna say a lot of things that I feel are almost forcing you to answer in weird ways. But when an artist comes in here and they decide they want to make a song with Oh Gosh Leotus, right? There's a few different ways this can go. And this is me speaking from the artist's perspective. I've had this beat I needed done for so long, and no one else could probably get it done but this guy, because I don't know anyone else. So they're going to come to you with, maybe it's a song they already made, or maybe it's something in their head. Maybe it's a tune they hum, you know? And they're going to ask you to help make that. That's one. Then there's going to be the guy who comes up to you and goes, yo, man, just make some. You know? Then there's going to be the guy who comes and plays you a beat, and he goes, I want a beat like this. And then there's the last one, which is essentially someone who comes up and just like, they got one bag, they got one style, and they just need you to help them make a bunch of them. I don't think any of these processes are bad.
No. But
from a producer's perspective, what do you enjoy the most? Do you want the guy who gives you full reign of control? To me, the bad side of that is possibly them going, never mind, I don't like this.
Yeah.
You know? But then there's also the guy who tells you exactly what to do. And then you go like, okay, I'm just a machine, you know? I'm regurgitating something.
That's the process that I don't like the most out of all those. When people bring, you know, their references or ideas to me, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, just make something within his vibe. Okay, bet. You made my job easier.
Yeah.
You know? And then my favorite process is when someone's like, yo, do you? And my thing is, like, I understand. Usually when I do that, it's because they already know, or like we already know each other. And it's like, okay, I understand your sound and you understand what I'm capable of doing. And it's so satisfying when they let me do that and I nail it.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Right.
But that's my favorite process for sure, because like I'm just creating freely as if they weren't even here.
Right. And
You know
that's why I laugh, because so for me as an artist, I've come and I've done all of those processes with you. I've come in and been like, yo, man, just cook something. I've come in and I'm like, I need this sound, this tempo, this, you know, like exact. And then I've also come in and, you know, I'm just like, yo, man, I got this verse I did on this one beat, you know, I just need it to fit on the next beat, you know, do something. And you listen and you go, cool, this is what I'm gonna do. You know, we've done all these different processes, but I see other people come in and they only do one process every time. You know, I've been in a lot of Cam sessions, and Cam is like, yo, man, like, he sits down and writes, you know, when you cook. And then you guys meet at the end, you know?
Yeah.
You guys like go on two different journeys. And I was like, I can't even imagine being that person. Like, it's so crazy to me to let go of the reins that much. I didn't start doing that ever until maybe 2020. You know, and that was because I hopped on your live. That's what taught me that. I hopped on your live where it was your world, you're in control. And I was like, Leo's going to just do what he wants, and I have to find a way, you know, and I've never made music that way. And it brought out a whole nother side of me artistically. And now I almost come to the studio with that in mind, like, you know, stay open-minded. You're working with someone who's you have to trust because they're that good, you know? And you as a producer, you have to trust the rapper every time, you know what I mean?
I do.
You know, it's pretty rough. You guys are on the opposite end of it, and you can't be like, you hear this Drake verse, write one.
Yeah.
You know, like, give me a banging 16 like that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, that's why I had to just pick and choose who I work with. And like I said, I work with you guys, well, you and the boys a lot, because you guys just get it.
Yeah.
And since I feel like I'm at that level, like, I just understand. You know what I'm saying? I might not be 100% every time, but I do.
It's awareness, man.
Yeah. I'm just like, yo, I know exactly who needs to be on this, what type of flow that needs to be on this. And usually, I don't even have to say nothing. I just do what's in my head already. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
and I was gonna say, I mean, it's even can be one of those things where I know you do this for me, where it's, I had this thing in my head, I want to be like this, and you're like, that's basic people stuff. Like you're a rapper. Let me, and you do your thing, and you take it to this next universe, and I go, okay, I didn't even know you could do all that, and you probably, you make the beat and you go, oh, I'm thinking something like this, and then we take it over here, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking even with that Wave Now record we did where,
Yeah.
You helped me. You were like, yo, that Anderson .Paak thing, the yelling thing, like that was, you were saying like, we should do something with that.
Yeah.
And then I brought in like a Migos flow, and we start mixing all these ideas together, and it just turns into like Migos, Anderson .Paak, Tom Misch. Like we have all this melting pot of ideas that just turn into a record. It's crazy to see, and that's why for me it's pretty crazy that you exist. It's wild to me, man. I mean, I was impressed in No Air, but that's just one beat.
I'm so over that beat.
Yeah, I mean, it's one beat. It's just a beat. And, and for me, it was just the first time I had heard something so big by some guy that's just like, yo, I made it at the house.
Yeah.
No samples. I was like, excuse me? Versus, now it's, jazz, funk, alternative, experimental, 808s, producer stuff, and I don't know, man. I mean, you didn't even really give me a good answer as to why you're this good.
Man, just practice, man. That's really just really loving what you do and just practice. And I feel like I know what good is, and it took me a long time to just be able to do exactly what I hear in my head, or to just make good stuff in general.
It's just taste, huh?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because there's people that we've all been listening to music since we were born.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So we know what good music is, and know what bad music is. But we don't know how to translate the process for ourselves at first. You know what I'm saying? Once we do become music makers, you know what I'm saying. And that goes with anything. Like you brought up earlier, like basketball, skating. Like you don't just be out here shooting threes off rib. You don't be out here just kick flipping off rib. We got to build a callus for that.
Right.
So yeah, for me, it was just practice, and that's what I preach all the time is practice.
Are you like
practice,
mentoring other producers or anything like that, or?
I mean, I essentially, yeah. I mean, I have a community of producers that I work with. On my YouTube streams, and I have a Discord, and I'm always like, yo, send me samples. I'll send you guys things, and just kind of have that community going to where I can't hear nothing anymore.
I hear you.
I don't know. Oh, it's my headphones. My bad.
I was gonna say I hear you just fine.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, I guess you could say, yeah, I do. I feel like the streams have helped a lot of producers. I've had people hit me up like, yo, like, just watching the streams, I learned so much. You know what I'm saying? I just give people the access that I wish I had.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To be great. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I have about 250 people in the Discord that I talk to every week. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Like I've seen the process, or the what's it called, like the progress, should I say, in certain producers in the Discord. Like where when I started the YouTube channel and they were in my streams at first, and them sending me beats for me to play, and then they're playing them now. I'm like, yo, you guys are getting crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say it's because of me. You know what I'm saying? But maybe because they're watching a bunch of other producers. But yeah, I feel good to at least be a part of the progress.
I mean, it seems like your strength and your weakness is the ability to help. You're a supporting role in a lot of people's lives, but you're also like the main character of your own. Where, like I said, you're an amazing producer. And I feel like that amount of skill puts you in a position where you can be the star of your own show, but somehow you're still a supporting star in a million other shows, and I feel like that's a gift and a curse. It's time you don't get back, but it's also, you never know. So
yeah,
I guess my question is just, is that something you see yourself always in some form, one way or another, doing, is helping out other people?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I was driving on the freeway yesterday. There was so much going on, and like so many things happened at the same time. I'm not gonna say what it was, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where I was helping like a bunch of people literally at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta stop my day.
Yeah.
And do all these things, but I'm just like, it's in my nature at this point. Like, this is just
I
the
try
person
not to
that
call
I am.
you for these things because I know you get so many of those calls.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to make sure he knows if I'm on his phone, the only possible thing I could be bothering you about is next time we're gonna kick it. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want it to be, oh shit, he's stuck on this or he needs help with that. You know.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's never that when
Yeah.
the homies call. It's just certain homies where I'm just like, well, it's anybody, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie. But it's sometimes when I finally get time to breathe,
Yeah.
and then I'm getting hit, like, and I think it was just yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm about to play the Xbox. I'm about to chill.
Yeah.
Like, literally 5 calls at the same time.
Jeez.
Everybody needs help. I'm like, but it's in my nature. Like,
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with me. Like, you know, I don't know. It's just in my nature to help people, and
Right.
I don't mind it because I genuinely love, you know, the
You're a
people
Virgo, man.
that support me. You know what I'm saying?
Virgo squad, baby.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Us being Virgos, man, we're just what you need, regardless of how you feel
Look,
about it.
man, I was doing photo shoots, mixing albums.
Yeah,
I stopped
remember.
making albums. I stopped making my music because, you know, I was happy to do it. Like, it wasn't one of those things where it's like, I sacrificed. It was like, no, I love making or supporting and being a cog in someone's machine for a bit, you know, and being a part of a journey and seeing the grand finish after, like, man, it feels good, you know?
Yeah.
And there's also a bit of a, I don't want to call it stimulation, but there's something that just feels good about helping paint a piece of the picture and then being able to finally step away without having to do all the painting and see a final picture, you know?
Yeah.
There's just something that feels good about that, you know?
Oh,
like,
absolutely. That is definitely one of, like, teaching people how to use FL or Pro Tools.
yeah.
I'm like, do this, and I'll come back and see what you do with the information I taught you. And they have a full ass project done or a full ass beat done.
You know?
And it's like, yo, you just took that and ran with it.
Exactly. And I've seen you do that with people, with teaching them production stuff or teaching Sonny how to engineer or, you know, just all the little inklings of things you do. And I mean, the basic obvious one is giving someone beats and they disappear and come back with an album.
Yeah.
You know, where you're not doing all the recording. And I feel like I was one of those few people for you at one point where you would just make beats with me and then you blink and there's a project done. And you're like, oh, I haven't even heard these songs.
Yep.
You're like, wow, I get to hear the songs for the first time without being in every level of the process. You know, and I've never really experienced that, you know, like I've never been a part of just the beginning and then it disappears and comes back done.
Yeah.
So to me, I think that that's exciting in itself.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, man, anything else we should cover?
No, I think we got it all covered. I mean, if you're curious where you can, I guess, see, you know, my process of my music making, the YouTube channel, I didn't shed much light on that.
Oh yeah, let's talk about slap episodes and all that stuff. Tell me everything.
Yeah. Well, I have this YouTube channel called Slap Episodes, and I stream every Monday and Wednesday. Sometimes I won't stream based on what I did the week prior. Like, I went to New York a couple weeks ago, so I didn't stream last week. But yeah, every Monday, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm just making beats on there. I'm playing my subscribers' beats. I'm using their samples. Just creating a community on YouTube to where we can just all collab, just make great music, just be inspired.
And it's a real platform. You know, there are consistent people there every time.
Oh, yeah.
I check in all the time, and I see it, and
Yeah.
it's insane.
It's a beautiful thing. Like no lie, the last stream that I streamed this last Monday that we just had. And I was like, I do not feel like making beats. I'm just gonna play my subs beats, my subscribers. Play their beats, bro. I was instantly inspired. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make one beat before I get out of here, and then I couldn't wait for the next stream because that's really the only time I get to sit here and just make beats is when I'm on the stream.
Yeah.
So when Wednesday came around, I was like, all right, thank y'all again for, like, I actually hit the Discord on Tuesday. I'm like, yo, I played y'all beats back once again, and thank y'all for giving me that energy. Now I'm like back into producer mode, and then Wednesday just went crazy. But that's what I'm saying. Like, though I'm giving them like all this information on how to produce and like giving them inspiration, and they're doing the same thing for me too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a lovely thing.
The power of the internet, man.
Man, the internet is a very big place. Oh wow.
I love this record. So I'm gonna close this out with this one right here.
Yeah.
Season finale. Oh gosh, Leotus. We're gonna do another one next season for sure. At my studio.
Yeah.
But once again, a crazy beat. A crazy beat. Jeez.
I forgot about this.
I didn't. All right, bro.
That's such a classic. Jeez.
All right, man. Well, it's a pleasure to know you. You're a great human. You're an incredible talent.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it just feels good to have this platform where it's just like a permanent archive of like these moments, you know, where we could just timestamp and talk about something permanently. I don't think we have enough of these. I do this every fucking episode. I freaking end it and then I say a whole new thought after.
Yeah.
But who cares? I was doing the midnight run for 3 years straight or something. I don't know how long we did it for. We have over 130 episodes. But I just remember I can always go back to those episodes to this day, and they're like time capsules, you know, that just take me back to these times in my life, you know, where we're telling stories, or we're just me and the homies just kicking it and talking about life, or an album we heard, or our own music, or hooping at LA Fitness. And I told myself, you know, I need to almost time capsule these moments of us in this phase of us making music, you know. So I've reached out to specifically just people that I feel like they're in a moment musically, you know, and they're doing special things at a special time in their life. I reached out to, I mean, these aren't even all people with fans, you know, it's just people who they're in a bag creatively in their life, you know. I think I did Richard Blackshear, who I strongly think that at some point he needs to be around you in some facet for something creative, because
He's definitely man talented.
He's got crazy talent, and all he does is play roughs. I'm like, look, man, we gotta like you can't all be roughs, you know. So me and him talked about
Stop
that for
cap.
a while.
No, I'm just playing.
And then I obviously did like Curtis King and Nick, you know. So we've done a lot of people that you know really well. So there's not really any surprise episodes, but yeah, man, you know, this was For the Record. This is Oh Gosh Leotus.
Yes, sir.
Type in Oh Gosh Leotus anywhere. Pretty much any record you've ever heard by me is produced by him. They're like 90% Oh Gosh, 10% Navi, and due to availability issues. Otherwise, it'd probably be 50-50. But, you know, these are my guys, and I'll probably save Nabi for next season because he's coming back in the country tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
I pick him up tomorrow from there.
Yeah, unless I decide to squeeze him in this season and make him the finale. But regardless, it was a pleasure, bro.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
We out.
All right, y'all.